So you and I probably have the same question. What's up with all these trains in Wausau, and why are they always honking? Now recently we've gotten a lot of complaints from residents regarding all the train activity in Wausau. People are concerned about excessive horn usage and extended stops on the tracks, which can cause intersections to be blocked. Now just like you, I live right here in Wausau, so we went out to find out the answers to our questions. Now the train tracks that travel through Wausau and the surrounding area used to be owned and operated by Canadian National Railway. However, recently they sold this train track to another railway company called the Fox Valley and Lake Superior Rail System, or Foxy for short. Now Foxy has been very busy and there's been significantly more train activity in Wausau. Not to mention, they're new to our area, so they're not quite used to operating in our community yet. Now, Wausau Municipal Code does have Ordinance 9.04.032. This says that there can be no unnecessary blowing of railroad horns between 7 p.m. and 7 a.m. So that should solve the problem, right? Well, not quite. This ordinance is unenforceable by the Wausau Police Department because railroads are governed completely by federal law. Now that preempts local and state regulations. The City of Wausau's train ordinance existed prior to 2005, which means it's grandfathered in to the federal regulation. Therefore, some of the city's limitations on train horns are maintained. Now the problem with that is that by federal law, trains operating in the City of Wausau may still use their horns in an emergency situation. The Federal Railway Administration is the only entity that can enforce this now pre-rule partial quiet zone. And they don't because Foxy operators are using their horns within the definition of an emergency situation. So what do we do then? Well, we've had the pleasure of meeting with Foxy and its administrative staff, and they have been very understanding. And they've been working with us here at City Hall and the Wausau Police Department to address citizens' concerns. Foxy understands that train horns can be annoying, but assured us that they have to use them to be safe. They're required to use their horns when there is a safety concern, such as cars or people approaching an intersection or animals on the tracks. Now, the west side of Wausau poses an especially difficult challenge because there are a lot of uncontrolled intersections. Foxy would get into big trouble if they didn't use their horn to signal to motorists that they're coming through.
So Foxy really can't do anything about blowing their train horns because they need to ensure safety on the train track. But what about us? What can we do to play our part in being safe around train tracks? There are 3 types of railroad intersections in the City of Wausau, and these are the ones with yield signs, signals, and crossing arms. For yield signs, make sure you yield, look both ways, and pay special attention to listen for a train horn. Do not stop on the tracks as this is extremely dangerous. For train track crossings with signals, be sure to come to a complete stop. If a train is approaching, be sure to stop at the stop line so you are a safe distance from the train. If you observe that no train is approaching, you may continue after coming to your complete stop. I see a lot of people get kind of misunderstood on this. As long as you come to a complete stop and the train is not approaching, you are free to go. So if you pull up to the stop and you see that the train is moving away, you are free to go. Lastly, for intersections with crossing arms, you don't have the option to continue, so you'll just have to wait patiently for them to return to their up position.
Now we hope this information has been helpful in letting you know what's been going on with the trains in Wausau. If you have any questions or concerns, you should contact the Wausau Police Department at our non-emergency number. That number is 715-261-7800. We have an officer who regularly communicates with Foxy to address questions and concerns as they arise. We appreciate Foxy for working with us to be a good neighbor, and we're so excited to welcome them to Wausau.